Hi, I'm Caitlin,
And I'm Taylor.
and we're presenting on iron deficiency anemia. So first, we're going to go over some key terms. Our first term that we chose was hematocrit, which is the ratio of erythrocytes to total volume of blood. The next term we chose was erythrocyte, a red blood cell that transports oxygen and carbon dioxide to and from the tissues. The next term is anemia, which is the deficiency of erythrocytes in the blood. Our fourth term is hemoglobin, which is a red protein responsible for transporting oxygen in blood and has 4 blood subunits, each containing iron bound to a heme group. Moving on, we have some additional terms. The first one we're going to go over is oxygenated blood, which is blood that carries oxygen and nutrients to body tissues around the body. The next term is deoxygenated blood, which is blood that carries carbon dioxide and other body waste from body tissues that will be expelled from the body. Another one is irregular heartbeat, which is a heartbeat that is beating too fast, too slow, or feels like it skipped a beat. Moving on, another one is systole, which is the moment when the heart muscle contracts and pumps blood from the chambers into the arteries. This is our last slide for key terms. To start off, we'll be going over diastole, which is the phase of the heartbeat when the heart muscles relax and allows the chambers to fill with blood. The next term is low blood pressure, which is a systolic pressure equal to or below 90 and a diastolic pressure equal to or below 60. Continuing on, we also have tachycardia, which is when the heart rate exceeds the normal resting rate of 100 beats per minute. Lastly, we'll be going over contractility, which is the tension developed in velocity of shortening of myocardial fibers at a given preload and afterload.
Iron deficiency anemia can be mainly diagnosed through a blood test. The main test will be a complete blood count, but just to be sure, serum, ferritin, iron, total iron capacity, and transferrin will also be evaluated. A secondary way of diagnosing iron deficiency anemia is through a peripheral smear, which determines shape. I am now going to talk about the kind of results we would see if a person is anemic. We would see a lower than normal hemoglobin count and a decreased hematocrit, which is shown on the slide and represents lower erythrocytes in the blood. The blood test will also show low mean cellular volume, low ferritin, and low serum iron. There will also be an above average amount of transferrin, which is the body's way of trying to compensate the lack of iron by increasing the transport of the iron it has. For the peripheral smear, it will show oval-shaped cells with pale centers.
Next, we'll be going over symptoms. These symptoms include, but are not limited to, pale or yellow or sallow skin, fatigue or lack of energy, shortness of breath or chest pain, unexplained general weakness, rapid heartbeat, pounding or whooshing in the ears, headache, sore or smooth tongue, brittle nails or hair loss, cold hands or feet, poor appetite, and unusual cravings for non-nutritive substances like chalk, dirt, ice, or starch.
Erythrocytes have hemoglobin structures within them that allow oxygen to bind and be carried throughout the body. Within hemoglobin are heme groups that have an iron. This iron is what gives erythrocytes the ability to bind with oxygen. Iron can become deficient within the body if someone is not consuming enough iron or is losing too much iron. This lack of iron causes the body not to be able to create enough hemoglobin. Less hemoglobin causes less bonds formed between erythrocytes and oxygen, therefore lowering the amount of oxygen that blood moves. This lack of oxygen is the cause of many symptoms of iron deficiency anemia. One of the main symptoms of iron deficiency anemia is extreme fatigue, which can be due to the muscle tissues not being supplied enough oxygen from the blood. Dizziness or lightheadedness can be explained by the lack of oxygen being delivered to the brain. The tachycardia, or increased heart rate, can be explained by the heart trying to increase oxygen delivery to the body that it is lacking.
Lastly, we're going to be talking about treatments. One source of treating this form of disease is eating iron-rich foods. These foods include red meat, seafood, beans, peas, dried fruit, and dark green leafy vegetables. Another source of treatment is eating vitamin C-rich foods, which include but are not limited to broccoli, grapefruit, kiwi, leafy greens, melons, oranges, peppers, strawberries, tangerines, and tomatoes.